Well, about 7 years ago, I first walked into my grandfather's shoes. He was paralyzed from a stroke and ended up in a wheelchair. He was paralyzed from the head down on the left side of his body. From that moment on, I increasingly became aware of the availability of wheelchair parking spots, of ramps available, and of handicap-friendly bathrooms. Our entire family started seeing our world now through my grandfather's eyes.
This ability to think of oneself as another person, think about it. To think and imagine what another person might be going through, whether it's happiness or suffering. This is a pretty sophisticated, imaginative experience. But believe it or not, all of us are actually soft-wired to be able to exactly walk in each other's shoes.
When we started our organization, Curacao Cares, a volunteer organization, we organized a race where we asked people to literally walk in somebody else's shoes. At first, of course, they were skeptical, but when we explained the concept, they got it. They had fun, but most importantly, they took home with them our message. What we wanted to communicate was that through volunteering, you meet people from different walks of life. And you start to understand their feelings and also see from a different perspective.
And me and Lisa both, we had the privilege of traveling and living in different places, as Gordon said. And oftentimes in these communities, we try to give back through volunteering by giving our time and skills. But when we stopped and look at all those moments, what we realized is that the experience was equally transformative in our own lives, as well as the lives of the people that we actually got in contact with. And also here in Curacao in our volunteer projects. Because it's never just about giving, it's also about gaining. And it's about gaining a particular skill, a very compelling human capability that you can call empathy. And empathy is it's not sympathy, it's not pity, and it should not be confused with kindness. Because the power of practicing empathy is that it can be revolutionary in our own individual lives, as well as the lives that we share with each other, within our families, our schools, and our community. Give an example.
Let me give you an example. So we had a volunteer project that we did at a special needs school. At a special needs school, there was this one volunteer that came up to me and said, there was this boy really misbehaving. But when I explained to her that he had undiagnosed autism, it clicked.
And it's when we are able to walk in each other's shoes that we can really start caring about each other. We can work together to achieve great things, and we can also do each other less harm and less violence. And to me, that sounds like a pretty decent recipe for a healthy community. But the thing is that it takes a lot of courage, and it takes a lot of social emotional intelligence to do this. And that social emotional intelligence needs to be taught, and it needs to be cultivated. So think with us, what if our schools here actually incorporated empathy in their curriculum? What if our schools focused equally as much on emotional literacy as they would focus on reading and numbers and the alphabet? Students would have the capacity to even succeed within the classroom with 1 + 1 is 2 as outside of the classroom. Because an education system that focuses on teamwork, on how to resolve conflicts, on collaboration, can actually strengthen us to be more self-resilient. It can actually create future leaders. And empathy can also be very, very useful just in our daily lives, because Curacao has navigated diversity very well. But still, more often than not, all of us, on a daily basis, we still put each other in boxes. And we still cannot get past those expectations that we might have of each other as members of a particular group. But by cultivating empathy indeed as a habit, that's when we can connect to the possibility of really seeing each other as individuals, of understanding that person that not just acts or think like I do, but just precisely the person that does not do that. And that's when we can build a community based on trust.
So we believe empathy is not the solution. It's not a means to an end. But we believe it to be a very powerful medium to guide our actions. Walking in somebody else's shoes is not something you do once a year. It doesn't come and go with fashion. What it does, it can truly redefine how we build relationships with one another, and it can also strengthen our communities.
Ooh. Too quickly.
Thank you.
Thank you.